encountered several kinds. And all of you have seen YouTube before, right? Okay. But then you might be aware that there are many other video sharing services out there. So there are like Vimeo, there's Google Video, and so many more. And some you might not encounter some of these. It really depends on who's sharing what with you. Most time you get it from email, Francis, check this video out. You might see it there. So what I'm going to do today is a few things. I've been working with video because I enjoy working with video since I was young, before this whole internet thing came about. So I'm going to share with you some things, including things about the culture of online video sharing, the idea of what memes are, memes, things that some of the kids do or some people do. Memes are basically ideas that are very viral. And what happens is that when someone does something, other people replicate the same idea. So it could be to save Burma, so everybody does videos where they do a monologue to save Burma. Or it could be, there are several others like lip dubbing, where people wear their iPods and pretend to sing the song that they're singing the song that they're listening to. So it's kind of bizarre, but there's a lot of other cultural aspects to it, like punking, because you're performing in public in a very spontaneous manner. And I'll kind of show you all these little things that came about because of the ability to do video. It affords the ability to engage in such kinds of interesting practices. I'll also share with you some of the technological variations between some of these services, like all the different ones out there. How are they different? When should you use them? Which one would be the most appropriate, and so on. So this little comparison chart that I produced will sort of help you get an idea. Basically, it cuts through the chase and gives you an idea of which services does what. And there are plenty more services. These are just popular ones that I've come across. Lastly, I'll also talk about the probable future of online video. Things that, because I've been working this for a very long time, I've tried out most of these services, I can sort of like see a certain trend to it, and I can tell you some of the emerging technologies that are coming out. Things like facial recognition, text recognition, the ability to search within videos, which was nearly impossible earlier. How do you search within a video? How do you search for a face or search for what the person's saying? There are certain technologies that are out there right now that allow that for this sort of thing. Okay, so the way I'm presenting is going to be a little bit like story. We're going to start off way before the internet, and then when the internet came about, and YouTube and all that stuff. Okay, so along the way, if you have any questions, just feel free to ask. Okay, now as we go along, if you get lost, I have a guide that I put up, and this is the sequence of how I'm going to present this. And the guide is at theory.udispaces.com/video2. Okay, you can write that down if you want. It's also linked to the blog. But this is how I'll be presenting today. All the links that I mentioned will be here. Some of the screenshots or visuals that I use will also be here, so you can share it with your friends and so on. As you can see, all the links and everything. Okay. So instead of using PowerPoint as a presentation tool, I'll be using a browser as a presentation tool. It's appropriate for me because a lot of the videos are online also. Okay, so I'll just carry on here. So I've been watching how people use online video sharing services a lot, because I'm very interested in how people are using videos as a way of social discourse and political discourse. Because if you look at it, nothing has come across as being as rich as video in terms of the experience of it. You could read text, you could see images, but sometimes videos just lend a lot of authenticity to a situation. So this is just a breakdown by country about how many videos there are per country, and it's a representation. It's not meant to accurately depict that. Let's say China has 122,000 videos. It just so happens that out of these 122,000 videos, China is mentioned in them. Okay, so just to show the proportions, and in a way, for me, it's sort of a representation to see whether or not these countries are in fact engaging in some way with videos. And interestingly, this is 19 June 2007, and there was that I had earlier statistics, and basically Vietnam was interesting because it was almost non-existent, and suddenly it came out as having a lot of videos. And I did a follow-up after that to try and see what happened after the Burma incident. And true enough, it also went up a lot, more so than the other more progressive countries. I mean, some of these countries, in terms of like first world and third world, it's really fascinating how a lot of videos came out there. And the Burma incident really led a lot of had a lot of use of online videos and photography as well. So, but before we go into all that, I'm going to go right back before the beginning. Before YouTube and all that came around, when people want to put up videos, they would use things like QuickTime or real media players. I don't know if you've used like the internet when it first came out, but those were pretty revolutionary. But it took a long time to load these videos. Like in the case here, one of my first few videos that I ever put up in my whole life was this claymation thing. And if you were to load a page, back in the day we didn't have broadband, so it would take a long time to load. So when people saw links to videos, they kind of like, whoa, I'm going to download this. You tend to stay away. But now it's different. Now, oh, it's fine. I'm going to click it and just watch it because it's going to be pretty fast. So this is just yeah. So as you can see, it's video back in the day was very stuttery, and so when I did this video, it was kind of perfect for explanation. You don't need the kind of speed, you know what I mean? So the technology sort of, a lot of us who did videos back in the day, we adapted to what the technology could afford us to do. So that's what we kind of did, and I took advantage of that by doing a little animation there. Now, however, as time went, as technology improved, ever since YouTube came about, there's been so many video services out there. One of the problems is that a lot of people, while a lot of people can easily use YouTube, it's really easy to use. In fact, when you upload any content, they don't really vet the content. They don't even check if it's copyrighted. There's no checks and balances. They simply let you put material up, and only when they get a complaint, they follow up on it. Some of the other sites, though, they engage in a review process. So, for example, Google Video does that, and I listed that in the chart under the heading review process. And one of the considerations for that, why you'd be concerned about that, is because it adds a lot of time to you actually getting a published video. For instance, I've waited for a week before my video is actually available. So it depends on the load that they're experiencing, whether they have a lot of videos to do and so on. And I don't think that's a very nice job to have to watch everybody's videos. It's quite tough. So there are tons of these videos out there, and if you think that's bad, in China it's fascinating, but there are 150 over video sharing services out there. So it's an explosion. And if you don't know by now, China's already superseded the number of American users online. They have a rate of more users on the internet than and that's less than 10% of the population. So the potential is fearless. America, on the other hand, saturated. You can get all these statistics from the Pew Internet Report, just Pew Internet Reports. You can see basically these reports on how to use the internet and so on. And so there's incredible potential there. And if you notice, in terms of look and feel, the design, there's all this Web 2.0 kind of design. It's a generational thing, where you have things like very cursive fonts, bubbles, colors. They mimic certain American flavors as well. But this is an entire look and feel for our current generation. And every generation of the internet use will always have a different design that sort of corresponds to it. So it's a very interesting, from an anthropological perspective. Okay. All right, so perhaps we'll start right from the beginning and kind of look at how this is YouTube, obviously, and this is my account. I upload a lot of videos. I engage in a lot of I like to share a lot of things that I'm interested in, and so I have a small following as well. And one thing that's fantastic about YouTube is that, unlike most of the other services out there, YouTube has an enormous amount of users. So if you were to select any video sharing services out there, YouTube has a ready market for you. If you are a marketing, someone interested in marketing new services, or even marketing UB or libraries, or any service that you have, this is a place where we're going to put something up. And if you happen to use words that people search for, all the more you're likely to get hit. And it's very easy for people to spread word of mouth because they can easily link to your video or embed your video elsewhere. So YouTube by default has that fantastic ability to reach a lot of people. It has its own downsides though. One of the, for example, this video that I did, it garnered me 700,000 views, and this is one of my most popular videos. Basically, I happened to be at the right place at the right time, and I was the first person to shoot a 15-minute overview of the new MacBook Pro when it first came out a few years ago. So that was really popular. But its downside, one of the things about it, is that first of all, because it's so public, one of the things is that you get all kinds of comments, and every different community. For instance, in the YouTube community is so used by so many people that it can appear very ghetto. Yeah, I'm using that term in a very frivolous way, but it can appear very ghetto because some of the comments, are very derogatory and different and stuff like that. But the thing is, if you are concerned with look and feel, if you're concerned with professionalism, there are other sites that offer you a much more sanitized environment to work with. So, but that doesn't mean that you can't use this. You have the ability to turn off comments and so on and so forth as well. Okay? So there are lots of things that you can do to customize this. Right? So,
could you?
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure I understand what the harm of the comment possibly was.
Oh, okay. They're not particularly harmful per se, but you get a lot of things like flaming, lynching. A lot of sometimes you have cyberbullying in there.
So if you want your videos to be in a more professional atmosphere,
right,
you would suggest to not use YouTube, turn the content off if you're going that way?
If you have a requirement, let's say you are working for a company and you don't want, some people, they run blogs and you don't turn on comments because they don't want that sort of thing to happen. So I'm just saying that it gives you the ability to turn it on and off, but it just so happens that the YouTube community, it's a very open community and one whereby anybody and everybody's in there. There are some communities that I'll show you later, some other video sharing sites where you get different sorts of people. For example, there are some communities where they are more engaged in the creative industry. There are some that are pure filmmakers, so the discussion tends to be more in that direction. Then there are some that are more educational and academic, like Google Video Institute, so the discussions in there, you appeal to different crowd. So I'm just saying that the appeal for this is a very lowest common denominator sort of thing. So you have to expect that if you're putting out your first video, you're excited, first comment might not be nice, don't be alarmed, it's just the nature of it. Yeah, so it can be very nasty in there for some people. So, but some people ride on that. Lonely Girl 15, she had her whole fake drama, lifestyle, serial soapbox thing going, and people were slamming her down. But she became famous, and she had lots of traffic. She's going on film as well, TV. So there's some people who, there are some superstars in here. You can actually become, a celebrity, a DIY celebrity in that sense. Okay? So there's a lot of it. So that's one of the affordances of YouTube. It's very wide, it's open, but it has its own advantages and disadvantages as well. I'm just going to run through a few more. So here's Reaver. Reaver is pretty interesting because this is I don't think any of the websites right now, the video sharing websites, have as much traffic as YouTube, but these are the ones like Reaver. They are very high quality. Okay, it's got it's a very high quality video. Okay, one of the high quality ones. So if you're interested more in the quality of your video, when you upload it, notice that the video that you take off your camera will never be the same as the one that's uploaded. It's going to be degraded so that it can be streamed online. They have to lower the quality in order to have it reach everybody. And Reaver just has a high quality video format. Okay. That means if you want to take the same video file and upload it to all these services, the Reaver one will look really good. Alright? Now Reaver also has a very interesting aspect to it. Gives you the ability to actually have a revenue generation model. So I know for educators this might not be a big deal, but for independent filmmakers or independent, people who are doing it as a hobby, you can actually put up videos and they'll have ads that you can choose. I think you can choose, but you also get revenue, like payback from it. So let me just show you an example here. So this is how much I made so far, $13.49. Yeah, it's just to try it out and things like that. But this is just a very neat way of, this is a neat video service in that it's very clean and it's also very sanitized because they are one of the few that have a review process involved. That's the one that can either take you a few hours to a week. It depends on how fast they are. I mean, they are so careful that when I did this video on Second Life, you guys are familiar with Second Life? That's the online multi-user, not really a game. And what I did was I did sort of like a machinima. Machinima is basically using game resources to make film. So I did this thing with a friend, and I uploaded here, and they said that because I don't own the rights to Second Life, I can't use the materials to do that. Even though Second Life people do allow you to do it, but they're just being careful. So it goes to that extent as well. They're very, very careful with that stuff. So this is a very clean environment to work in.
Do you know where Reaver's house is?
Oh, you mean the location? Not sure. All I know is in the US, but you can always, well, I guess you can check here, see if they have an address.
I was just curious.
California. Yeah, looks like Hollywood. So, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot that's actually mentioned in all these terms and agreements. It's really actually interesting to read, and I tried to basically distill it on this chart. So I read all the privacy statements and everything, and I figured it all out. So, okay, and so for the Reaver incident, I wanted to put out really high quality videos to talk about the October 13th storm that happened last year. And so when I talked about it, Steve Watson, who writes for Buffalo News, he sort of like, we often discuss about issues of how people use social media from online photography to video, and he was interested in how we noted that for the October snowstorm, we found more than 100 storm alert videos that we put up. Now what's interesting about this is that no one told them to do this. Obviously some did it to show friends, some did it to show the rest of America how messed up the storm was. And so at the end of the day, it came up to 100. And this is in a way a form of citizen journalism. The idea that the everyday man can engage in their own form of journalism as well to report on things. And if you notice things like CNN, Reuters, they now even have facilities to accept video submissions for use in their mainstream traditional news media broadcasts and so on. Because the reporters can't always be there, and there are more of us who have cell phones and cameras. So when I did this basically. Basically it's an interview, but basically I'll be documenting about what's going on. Everybody start buying water, things like that, and we did all this stop report, stuff like that. But yeah, this is just one use of online videos to showcase how things happen. Stuff like that. I'm not sure you can see it, but anyway, yeah. So you can see all this here. This is just an explanation of what citizen journalism is, but I'll give it a skim. And so this, when YouTube and all these online video sharing sites started to come out, it really lended itself to this, so not exactly new, but this emerging culture of what they call snack culture, where people wanted things very short. They wanted, cliff notes of everything, and even for entertainment as well. So while one instance that I can draw for you is how, you might, in the early days when you play games, computer games, they would be very long drawn out computer games where you sit down and like role-playing games where you sit hours and play with friends and so on. Now, games that are really popular are those that are those flash-based games where you can launch in the browser, in Scrabble or Snooker or whatever, right anywhere you want, anytime. And this online video culture is very much part and parcel of this as well. People like things short and sharp. But my point here is that even though there's a lot of emphasis on things like YouTube, that doesn't mean that long videos have no place in our world as well. And that's where Google Video comes in. The thing about Google Video that's very unlike all the rest is that they allow you unlimited videos of unlimited size. So you can have entire lectures or whatever you want. In fact, part of my video kit here has a camera with a hard drive, and I tried a few months worth of recording. Basically, I recorded everything I did, everything. And I could do it because I've got a big hard drive in my bag and battery packs and all that. And so it records everything. And my idea, well, I can't explain it in a while, but I could upload them all into Google Video because there's unlimited storage and keep it there. But I can't explain what I'm trying to do later on a while because it lends on to what people are doing in the future as well. Okay. So this is Google Video, and the nice thing about Google Video is that there are plenty of options as well. You just log in with it. So when you upload video, this is what you see in the back end. A lot of people always see, the part where not many people, not everyone will have upload videos everywhere. This is what the back end looks like. When you upload the video, the end result is this: you get a dashboard. A dashboard is a term used to describe the administration page. Okay, anything, whether you use a blog or what, there's always a dashboard. So this dashboard shows you the status of the video, dates, viewership, and so on and so forth. And so you can customize any portion of it just by going to the edit video part, and you can see that they give you all kinds of options, title, description. And this is pretty similar to YouTube, except that different video services will give you more or less options. Okay, so these are things to go through. So there's all these things. You can also enable, disable all these things. You can add credits. So in terms of like if you recorded a seminar or something, you can give proper credit to the people as well. Notice that in the chart I also listed out things like privacy settings, and this is where I get all these privacy settings. I refer to these things where what are the options you have if you want to just have your class see and no one else see it, or your friends and whatnot. So some of them they give you, like in this case, public unlisted. Unlisted means it's not in a search engine, but if the URL is told to a few friends, they can access it. And some, they are more strict. So, I mean, it depends. I have it on the chart. Basically, there are some that have it such that you can have public or private. And for private, you can have send out things like invitations. And only those people can see it. Once the 25 invitations are used up, that's it. Some of these privacy settings are even more advanced. There are some where you can put a start and an end date, so you can show it for a period of time. And this is great if you're syndicating shows or anything you don't want, kind of like maybe you can put free for now and then later you charge for it. In fact, some of these sites, they actually let you charge people who buy the video off the site and then you earn money as well. Okay. So just to show you what the advanced options are, there you can see there's purchasing information as well, whether you want to make it free or and then you can set whether you want to let people download the video. Some sites let you download the video, and when they download the video quality, whether you allow people to embed them. Same thing for YouTube, you have these options. And this is really interesting. This is the only service I've seen where you can actually restrict it according to the region. So you can select the countries you don't want it to be shown in. Okay. So that's pretty fascinating stuff. Alright. So this is what your page will kind of look like. When someone does a search, you get to this page and you your video would stretch according to the size of the browser. So it's nice in that way. Okay. But notice that, of course, as it stretches, the quality increases. YouTube has one of the lower quality video settings around. It's really popular, but it's got really, really poor video quality. All the other sites up there, even Google Video, have better video quality. Okay. And I've got the sizes all down in the chart. Alright, so you can see all the different options here, embed options, you can download for UI port PSP. And so the site, what all these video sharing sites do is that they auto-convert your video that you upload into all the different formats, including Flash, which is what is often used to playback. Alright, so that's Google Video. Then of course, another one that I want to mention is Video. Video is very interesting because it's one of the first few sites that I've seen that actually does syndication for you. So let's say you want to make sure your video has massive reach. Video, first of all, has high quality video playback, which is good, but maybe it doesn't have a huge community. So what happens is that when you upload a video onto Video, you can have it automatically send the same video to YouTube, MySpace, and Google as well. So MySpace also has a video option. And this is neat because it saves you time if you want to distribute it everywhere. Okay. Now, as you notice here, what's neat is that it actually gives you a count, the statistics of how many views you get per site. So it's aggregating the results as well. It's ultra useful. You don't have to keep going to all the different sites to get all the information. They even show you the number of downloads. And if you have an ad that you put in there, I think this site lets you opt into advertising. You also can check the sales revenue for all the different services. So lots of options, syndication, all that. Pretty neat. There's one other one that has an auto syndication feature, which I'll talk to you in a while. The other one will be blip.tv. Okay, and I don't have it in here right now, but if you go to blip.tv, the syndication is even more extreme. You have options of syndicating to Flickr, which is a photo sharing site, and what it'll do is it'll post thumbnail pictures of the video, like a few thumbnails of put it on there. So if you have friends who read your Flickr a lot, they will also know to come and watch. It also does auto blogging, like blogging, putting a blog post to your site automatically, and so on. So blip.tv has all those features. In fact, if you're really into professional video sharing, I'd say that blip.tv, which I only recently used, I haven't got it on screen here, but blip.tv gives you a lot of options from the ability to do podcasting. Okay? You can customize the size of the video that you embed right from the page itself. But do note that of all the sites out there, blip.tv does have a terms and agreement that says that when you put your video there, unlike the other sites, the rights don't really belong to you anymore. They become public domain. It's a forced situation where you relinquish all your rights. And because they stipulate that it becomes public domain, they also indicate that they have the right to use it. Okay. So blip.tv is very customizable, but it might be a bit too much for a starting out, like user just starting out, because there's so many options there. But you can feel free to explore it. So that's one thing. Okay, then so all these sites are interesting. They all have their pros and cons. Vimeo is a very interesting site. It's interesting because, as you can see, when you go to the front page, it's a very artsy site. It's very creative. It's very fun. And true enough, if you go in and search around, they have the most interesting clips that I found anywhere, because they engage in memes and all that stuff, and they they sort of compete with one another. So here's one example, what a lip dub is. I just want to show you.
I remember when I lost my mind. There was something so pleasant about that place. Even your emotion had an echo and so much space.
big deal is that other people are doing their own. And if you look at what's happening here, this is first of all spontaneous and it's done in a public space. I mean, not everyone has the guts to do that. I tried doing one myself. I'm not going to show you. But there are others who have done really fantastic versions as well. And so it's kind of neat. There's a bit of a problem though. If you're a person who sticks to copyrights, you can see a lot of violation there as well. But what they tend to try to do is that when they use a video, they use a music track, whatever, they then credit the source and try to point it to a place where you can purchase it as well. So you try to bridge the gap, you know. I'll talk a bit about all these things in a while about copyright. But here's a really good lift up. If you have kind of like a bit of time to watch. Now the video is usually smoother, it's just that I've got a lot loaded, so it's kind of choppy, but it's smoother actually. Now one thing I only noticed is that okay, notice the whole playback thing disappeared. So different websites have different ones, like some will change the space, they have the ugly stuff, but this is a very pretty interface because it takes away everything. When you mouse over, it comes on. So it's very, very nice that you can do things like that or whatever. So this is a workplace that I totally want to get in because everybody just and the funny thing is they are sort of like doing it, you know, synchronized and stuff. Okay. So it's pretty interesting, and another new thing that I just spotted is this new trend of foxtographs or foxtography. Now, fox, as you know from the root word, is fake. Okay, and photography is the art of pictures, I think, or recording. And it's used usually in a very derogatory sense. So, let's say newspaper has engaged in foxtography or photo manipulation. Things like when the war was depicted in the New York Times, there were several instances where some of the scenes that were taken were actually staged. So they had people found out because they spotted the same character bleeding on the ground, and the next minute he was there shoveling, trying to rescue people. So people realized, whoa, the photographer actually asked the guy to lay down and pretend to be collapsed so that he could get a prize for the picture. And things like that happen all the time. I mean, they can be not in a picture but text that you fake an interview and so on. It happens, academia, news media and so on. But in this case, they put a very funny slant to it, and photographs here in this sense, well, I won't tell you. If you just watch, you can see what I mean, what's going on.
Alright, last one. So, you sure you want to do it like that?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let's see. Let's get close.
What are you doing, David?
I'm shooting a video.
So that's what photographs is, and basically it's this entire movement where everybody does it. It's laughing, it's taking a picture but not really taking pictures, taking videos. They say film just hold the pose for a long time, right? So what I'm talking about memes, all these ideas where you pump the environment, where you change conventional thinking and so on. So this is a very creative science because it's engaging in new forms of taking video and photography and so on. So this is a different genre altogether, and that's why I say this is a site that was niche, is in very humorous kinds of artistic ways of engaging video media, from singing songs with your iPod and hugging in public, meaning that you're adapting this public space and turning it into a private space as well. You're channeling emotions like that, things like that. So Vimeo is great for that, and if you have art students, they should totally check out these sites. Okay. So, and a little bit about copyrights. I mean, all these sites out there, they approach it very differently. It's very interesting, especially interesting to read terms and agreements of video sharing sites. Unlike most of the sites, video sharing sites are, first of all, they're similar to most of the sites because a lot of services out there, from Flickr, photo sharing to blogging and so on and so forth, and blogger.com. A lot of these sites allow for what we call user-generated content. Meaning the site drives on what you produce. They don't produce anything, they just produce code. So if it's your work in there, then you have issues of copyright, not just of your own intellectual property, but whether or not these submissions are using property belonging to other people as well. And different countries have different engagements. Okay, so this, if you happen to go to Wikipedia and search for some copyright situation by country, you can see how every country has a different one. Some countries, unfortunately, like Singapore, has a super long copyright, while other countries like Afghanistan has no copyrights. So if you were to produce works there, I guess it's fine to copy. But yeah, so it's got to do with how there's a certain treaty that they signed a few years ago, and it depends on which one they use.
So some countries don't have copyright?
I would say that some countries don't. Most actually have, but are really short. Like this strange country here, it's plus 85 years. Life meaning the life of the person that created plus 85 years. Okay, and if you move there, it's a beautiful country. So you can rip all MP3s you want, live like a king. So yeah, Ethiopia is actually, I don't think I've lived there, but yeah. So this is just interesting from a that standpoint, just to show you the other side of this. So because of all these user-generated content, one problem is that a lot of very interesting content gets locked away. People can't get access to it, can't use it. So, and there has been a movement all this time where people have been arguing, what's the best way around it? We don't want to violate people's intellectual, the rights of the owners of these intellectual property, whatever it is, whether it's music or videos or photographs. We want to figure out a way in which we can keep things moving. This book talks about, was sort of like a precursor to the idea of Creative Commons. Okay, I'll explain a little bit about that. It also goes into the video a lot. The gift, the idea, basically Lewis Hyde, that I forgot whether he or she, but so he wrote that whatever we have that we have been given is supposed to be given away, not kept. That's a very interesting thought. Or if it's kept, something of similar value should move along instead. The gift may be given back to its original donor, but it's not essential. The only essential is that this state must be. So, and this has been, this ideology has been something that a lot of tribes subscribe to naturally. Meaning that when one owner, let's say, has a spear or a bicycle, he won't just keep it in his hut and prevent other people from it. They would share it. There's a sharing mentality. And so the whole community thrives on a single item. Unlike our modern society where we're so hard and fast on the idea of ownership that we've forgotten that we're sort of disadvantaging our other selves out there from the ability to do more. So if we were to sort of figure out a way in which we can keep things moving along and have a very equal or fair way of doing it, then the whole mankind in its creative sense can move along as well. So sort of to bridge the gap between copyright and public domain. Copyright is one hand where content gets locked down and you have to ask for permissions, all rights are reserved. The other end of the spectrum is public domain, where whatever you produce, you stamp public domain on it, anybody can use it for anything they want. Now that's too extreme. For musicians, especially if I produce a piece of work, well, that's a little bit too extreme. I don't want to go to extent. So that's where Creative Commons comes in. It's right in the middle. It's byline is some rights reserved. Okay? And the idea is that you can stipulate how you want it to be used, whether or not you can. And there's this license generator that they have. They have all these things they can do to learn. Okay, but they have. As you can see in this little comic, there are 4 basic rights that you can stipulate, and you can mix and match them. Okay? So, depending on how you use it, like by attribution means that you can use my work, but make sure that you indicate that the credit is to me. That's all I ask. That's one. The other one is stipulating non-commercial use. So it's fine. If you want to use for commercial use, contact me and ask for permission. You know, that's fair enough. And then you have no derivative works, meaning that you can't distort this imagery or reuse it any other way. Okay. So and then last one I share, like meaning that whatever you do with the image or whatever produced here, you have to share it using the same rights that I stipulated at first. Okay. So you can mix and match these, and it's a more fair way of sharing content rather than to copyright and prevent everyone from using it. More and more musicians out there are, and artists out there are actually using these. Yes.
Where do you find that information? Like I've searched for images on the website. Where would you find that?
Yeah, it's kind of hidden. You know, if
How
you
would you know?
that's a okay, that's a good one. I know what you mean. There's a problem with that. This page is kind of hidden away. Okay. Now the URL is wrong. I think the browser is a little wonky right now. But if you look for Flickr and Creative Commons, you will find this page. And this page lets you browse and search for images based on the rights that are given to it. Okay. So just do a search for it. Sorry, the URL is also on my wiki page. If you saved it, but you can see all the different rights. So let's say you're working on calendar. Often, if you're a great photographer, you have all these people. I've got some images used in books and calendars before, where people ask me, "Oh, can I use this image?" And then this and that. If I stated all these things, they will follow those rules as well. So this is just one of the beginning. So there's a brief explanation here. But if you were to look at any one image, so let's say I click on this rabbit here. I just want to show you kind of how the rights system appears. So this is a very nice picture of some rabbits, or hares, or bunnies, or whatever. And you can see that it's kind of over here. So these are the symbols. And if you click there, you can sort of see an explanation of what it is. So you might start to see those symbols appear more in people's websites and blogs, because slowly the system's being engaged by more people, accepted by more people out there. So this person used these to publish and explain how it works. And this is kind of the brainchild of Lawrence Lessig from Stanford. So it's backed by an entire organization, and a lot of researchers are trying to use this. And it's a very nice, interesting situation, because it's a very good instance of how academics and politicians are working together on this, okay, as well as the creative industry. So that's Creative Commons, and that's a very short explanation. I could spend a whole lecture talking about Creative Commons. So I'm just going to move along, but just to show you, there's a lot more there. There's Creative Commons of music. So what happens is that if I produce a very nice a cappella, I can share that, and people can look for specific parts, samples, and then use it in their own mixes. So part of Creative Commons is the idea of remixing and mashups, where you might have heard this somewhere before, read newspapers and magazines. You hear a lot of mentions about, the mashup culture, the remix culture. Yeah, people are taking Star Wars and making their own version or improved version of Star Wars. George Lucas is cool with that. He said so. So there are some releases that people have made where they improve it. The Matrix as well. There's one Matrix version out there that is an improved version, because fans who watched it said that the original order sucked, so they rearranged everything in a proper sequence. So you have things like that going on. So I've used some music from here for some of my videos as well, and you can use that for slideshows or presentations. So you can make your presentations more interesting that way. Now, of course, I also want to touch a little bit on the technical aspect. Now, encoding for all these video sites, they all use this, more or less use the same kind of system delivery. They use Flash, but the backend that is will always change, be different. So some sites that are high quality for certain images, the video, you would upload a clip that would allow the system to easily digest and sort of convert. So you want to, that's why I have this chart here, because since every site has a different kind of quality to it, you want to make sure that you kind of give it the footage that the machine can sort of understand the easiest, and so work, and then you work from it. Because sometimes when you upload a clip that should work, the end result might be something blurry or off color. You might not understand why, and so following these guides that you find online, it sort of helps you get the best quality. And so I've compiled all these information in here, and this chart is just version 1 of what I'm doing. I'm going to keep building on them to try and add more information. And if you have ideas on how I could improve it, let me know. Because I haven't found a chart like this online before, anywhere.
And
Yes.
how do I access this text?
Oh, this text?
Yeah, we're just.
Because your browser stuff.
Oh, okay. It's also in here. But
Why did you get that?
oh, yeah. I can print it out for you later on. But it's all on the wiki that I mentioned.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
the links are all there. But what I've done is I've taken all this and put them here. So because the rest of it is just blah blah blah.
Oh, I see.
And if let's say you're encoding for YouTube,
Got it.
you go with video encoding at the bottom. That's the setting.
Except I see this text about YouTube song recommendations. So I was curious about that.
Oh, okay. If you just Google, you will definitely find it. A lot of people talk about this, and this is the default for a lot of video sharing sites. Except that if you want to do better, then you follow this. In essence, if you have no time and you don't have a video, most of the time any video that you upload should work. But it's just that if you want to go to the next level and achieve maximum quality, then you follow the specifications that people have suggested. Yeah. I'll show you some of the tools that you use to reach this stage. So you could be, how many of you are using things like iMovie or are any of you producing videos right now? Sometimes.
I've done some animation videos that I upload on the web. That's about it. I haven't
Okay. Yeah, it's very easy to convert nowadays. In fact, if you have a whole bunch, you can just dump in a program and convert all for you. And so I'm gonna just show you. If you're on Windows machine, you use this one called Super. It's called Super Video Converter, and that is the real deal. And a lot of people who do video will know about this. Okay? So I guess it's really super. And so you load in all your clips here, and then you can set the configuration to so on and so forth, resolution. So when it comes to this dialog box, you sort of like go online or you use my little guide here, and then just enter the specs in there. You should get 3 pieces of video according to whichever site you want to upload to. Now all these sites, what's interesting, they're all trying to upgrade their services to go into HD. Vimeo is one where they have gone into HD. So it's pretty insane how they managed to do it and still have us people watch. Because when it comes to HD, that's like really high resolution, and it's amazing how it gets streamed over to us. It's just huge. So not sure what to do over there, but yeah, that's the news. And now for Mac users, there is Visual Hub. Visual Hub is kind of like, you can use it for, you kind of have to pay for it, but I think it's really cheap. I paid for it, it's like less than $2, but you just throw in all your clips in there, you can set the profiles or defaults, and you set all the sizes and hit start. And you notice it's really smart. It has this thing called X-Script encoding. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about that. If you have more than one computer in your house or office, you can have them all process the same video. So you can have it processed even faster. It's called grid computing. And this thing actually allows you to do that. Some people quite trust it. Stitch your videos together. So if you have a whole bunch of clips, you can have it automatically just bunch it all together. And then when done, you can set action. So let's say you're going to sleep, so you can make your computer shut down. Right? So it's pretty nice. Okay. So it has all the options. You can see all the formats. You can have it ready for iPods, PSP, and so on. So these are what I call really productive, user accessible tools that are more professional tools out there. Things like Sorensen Squeeze, things like Apple's compressor program, but those are hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Okay, those are things that you might not need to achieve the same results. Okay? It's mostly for professionals. Sorry?
Can you compress videos and
Yeah.
also
Yes. What iMovie will do is use QuickTime. And QuickTime Player, despite the name QuickTime Player is also an editor. If you notice, if you play around QuickTime, you can copy and paste segments and put it in out also. And I do this sometimes once because iMovie takes a while to load. So QuickTime, when you export, you have all those kinds of options as well. Okay. This is more for batching. If you have a whole bunch. Now I just want to show you another technology that sort of emerged after video sharing came out. This whole idea of editing online came about. Okay, but what happens here is that sites like JumpCut and JumpCut actually let you upload all your clips and edit it right in the browser. So if you're traveling and you don't have a computer, you have a friend's computer, you can just use the browser, upload your clips in it, and then edit them around and share it. So these are pretty handy as well. YouTube also has one. It's called YouTube Mixer, and not many people know about these things, but they exist. YouTube has this thing called YouTube Mixer. Okay. So as you can see, it takes all the videos they upload to YouTube, and then you can edit them, you can reposition them, you can put frames, you can put text. So it's pretty interesting. Great for putting something good together. Any questions about those things? Okay, then I'm going to talk a little bit about the future of the online video sharing, because there's this idea of blogging, for instance, okay, where you share video and it goes hand in hand. So some people, instead of blogging text, some people do photo blogs where you blog photos, and some people do video blogs where you blog videos. And I was talking to this guy called Adrian Miles. He's a professor at RMIT, and he talks about video blogging, and he talks about one of the problems about videos right now. I'll just jump to
Video blogging is quite different to the way video blogging is currently being practiced.
Okay.
Which is, my video blogging practice has always been primarily interactive and has always explored video as a granular, interlinked, software practice. So it almost crosses, I guess, into an art practice. But my basic view is that if, for example, the video doesn't have links in it, it's not video blogging, it's video.
It has to be textual.
It should have links in it, for example. So if you're busy talking to me, and there could be a little, for example, a little icon just up there. Click on it, takes you to my blog.
So this would involve some scripting technology, but
it's trivial to do.
Okay.
It is trivial to do. QuickTime doesn't.
Okay.
There's software like Ezedia, which you can teach someone to use in 15 minutes that will do it. Doesn't do it that well, but the technology is all there. No one has still quite made the tools for it. And I think that's simply because, as I said in today's presentation, video on the web is about where text on the web was in 1995. So we're all excited that we've got a distribution medium, but we're not actually stopping and going, oh, yeah, we can put links in it.
right.
Let's do that. And that, I think, is the next sort of wave, and I think that will happen.
Okay.
Someone will make a nice little simple software tool, just like they made WYSIWYG HTML editors, they made iMovie and all the rest of it. And it'll be a single program where you'll be able to drop in a little icon,
So it'll be
link it to somewhere,
right.
and I can compress it and post directly to my blog from that one application.
Okay. So it's like what hyperlinked it to text.
Yes.
So it's going to be another choose your own adventure kind of thing. Where
It doesn't have to be, because a blog, for example, is densely hyperlinked.
It's a very long thing, but the main point of it is that the complaint is that it's a very interesting comparison of video to text. So when we first had the internet, we were all distributing text. And one thing that internet allowed us to do was to hyperlink between text. So we call it hypertext, where if I talk about something, you link. So he's saying that right now, same thing we're experiencing for videos. So first thing that we do for videos is to distribute it. But second thing that we're going to experience later on is the idea that we would be able to interact with it, whether or not to link to other sources right from the video itself. And there has been technologies for this since the early 2000s, because QuickTime itself has a separate track. QuickTime as a medium has a video track, audio track, as well as text track and so on. But there are other tracks that you can have that allow interactivity as well. So early days you could already actually put links there, you could point one video to another, but it was very archaic, very difficult. You had to kind of know, I had access to software to do it, which wasn't very popular, or you know how to script. So now, he's mentioned that it's easy to do. I mean, it's possible, but no one's done it yet. But now, ever since I made that video back in 2006, just a short time later after that, we have sites that sort of do it. I just want to show you an example of how people like me try to bridge the gap. So when I post a video back in the day, what I would do is I would create thumbnails. So it's sort of a visual way of seeing what's in the video before we actually get into it. So that's what some of us did. Now, some people start to do better. Where you get a video wall. There are a few instances whereby video is hard to work with because you can't link from within it. You can't. There's very little interaction other than playing back. There's also this inability to search within videos. And sites like Links, which is that linkx.com, when you do a search, let's say the matrix, it pulls up all the matrix related clips. And this is kind of a neat way. You notice that it's played, it's kind of like playing a thumbnail, so you can see what's inside. So this is trying to enable the search aspect of the video as well. And when you click on any of them, then you can sort of watch it. I'm talking about the interactive nature of video, whether it's to link or search. And another site called Motion Blocks. These might be obscure to a lot of people, but Motion Blocks combines editing on the site with thumbnail generation. So as you put a video up, you can see all the thumbnails appear. And when somebody wants to watch a particular part of the video, you just click that thumbnail and it will play from that point onwards. Okay, so it's a visual way of searching and browsing for content. So that's very handy. And after that, people were also still trying to figure out how to improve the search mechanism. So there were instances where there's this project, I think, was at Duke University or MIT, but it was at Wikimedia, and my friend was there, and he found this guy who was talking about MetaVid, which is a software that actually lets people search C-SPAN, because C-SPAN has closed captioning. And so, if you can imagine, the closed captioning portion, the closed captioning tracks of certain videos can be used to search videos. Because if that keyframe where the senator or whoever mentions a keyword, search, it will pull up that frame and play it there. So it's very easy then. It's perfect in the sense that we can finally search video as well. But this technology, didn't really get out to the rest of us. So there are other instances where we have to search as well. In the case of us, Google Video is one of the few sites that allow for those kind of tracks. And if you do have a video and you do have a transcript to go along with it, Google Video let you search in your video as well. So it's very, very handy. And they have some examples here. So you see the CC and you see a line, wherever you search for, you see the lines where it was mentioned and so on and so forth. There were other instances where more advanced technology was used. I'm just going to show you. This is everything they used to call Hotsync. And what they do is they use speech to text recognition. So as people talk, they generate a transcript with a time code, and then I look for things like Tony Stewart, NASCAR, whatever. It will then pull up the keyframe and mentions it. So this voice recognition. This site though is kind of weird. You can't just upload clips in there and then have it transcode for you. It is not a direct action site. It's a search site that will scour YouTube as well as other popular sites and then look for those things that I mentioned. So the way it processes the video, it's on its own, it's crawling on its own. We can't, like if I want my clip transcript, it won't do it. Okay? But this is just to show you that you can search within the video system. The technology is for it. Now, I mentioned about the closed captioning. I just want to also add that there's a project that's going on called Project Read On. And it's really neat because, especially if you are disabled, you can't hear or can't really hear, what happens is you can request a video to be transcribed and then volunteers will go and work. So I'm not very sure exactly how it works, but I've seen some of your examples that they've transcribed some of them. So those were pretty interesting. So there's adding text within video, searching within video, hyperlinking within video. I haven't shown you hyperlinking yet, but I just want to show you something else that's sort of becoming a trend as well. The idea of GPS and positioning data. So a lot of times it's already happening for photographs and photographers. There are cameras that build GPS now that when the minute you snap a picture, the coordinates are stored. So when you go back, you can launch your Google Earth and pull up photographs based on locations. You can explore these. There's a site called Google Earth that talks about all things related to positioning data. And through this site, I found out about this service which you can use. It's a project, and I do wish that it will take off. It's a very, very new thing. GeoVideo. So GeoVideo combines GPS information with video, and it's exactly what I would love to do with my backpack here as well, where I would walk around. I would love to be able to see on a map where I've been for this video. So I'll show you this video and see how it works. So this guy's on a bike and he's going down a hill. You see this map here? As the video is going, that pointer is supposed to follow the track as well. And this is all independent of you. You just upload two files: the video file and the KML data. The KML data is a file that your GPS device will output. Okay? And sometimes different GPS devices will output different files, but you can normally convert whatever you have into a KML, which is kind of like HTML standard. Okay. I don't know why it's not working. It's a little bit slow because I got 2 pages loaded. But when you upload those two files, then it will synchronize the data by time. So you probably have to sync it a little bit, but it will normally sync by time. And then you will watch the video and see where you've been. Now the same thing can be applied for photographs as well, and time will be used to synchronize. So your camera will have a time as well as the GPS will store time, and then they'll sync using the time code that's there, and that's how they play. Now the GPS systems, most of them also record altitude data, so you can also see. So some people float things, you can also see the altitude data. So right now, using this sort of information, this sort of facility might be a bit too superfluous for most users out there. But there could be some industries, some research that would find this extremely useful.
So would you have to have a camera and some GPS already installed
No.
for it? Or you
No.
just have to have
Like two separate things. Yeah. And if you were to browse the person's blog, he has a how-to. So he shows you he used this is watch that he uses, the Garmin watch. So he has the Garmin GPS watch, and a video recorder, that's it. So just took a bus, goes to the local classes. A few years ago, I remembered someone in Buffalo doing a research that involved the use of 2 cameras in his car facing outwards, and I'm not sure if he had GPS, but what he did was he drove through the crime-infested neighborhoods, and he wanted to visually see on a map and also visually see through video how the environment was like. So this was before Google Maps had Street View. You know, now they have Street View, you can literally see what's on the streets. But he was doing that before, and this would have been totally useful for him. Because if we were to be doing research on like sociology and architecture and spaces, things like these would help you pinpoint exactly certain spaces and see whether characteristics of like, oh yeah, this place you can see, you know, distance from police station or distance from community center and so on. You can see, you know, perhaps there could be some telltale signs that would indicate that, oh, this place would be crime infested or very something like that. So it's good for study as well. So there's a lot of potential here, but I hope it doesn't die off before the potential is realized because it's such a useful site. Now, so that's GPS data. But one of the sites that I really like, okay, I haven't shown you yet, it's because I'm saving the best for last, is this site called Vidler. And it came out earlier this year, and Vidler is incredible because it's done everything that I wanted a video site to do. I'm just going to show you a little clip here and sort of let you have a look at the quality as well as what it's capable of doing. So I did it this manually, but you notice it doesn't have dots. And once the video goes over a dot, you can see something happen.
I was looking down the sunny streets of my hometown, and suddenly I saw you after all these years. We were best friends in school, and we were
So hey, this is Kevin again, and this time I'm with Georgiana. You see what's happening? So every dot allows you, you can actually insert things at any point in the video. And if I wanted to insert something over here, I just move the playhead here, I hit plus. I can add things like add a video comment, so I can add a video within a video as a comment. I can add a tag, I can add a comment. And in all these cases here, I've added a comment for people to easily jump to the parts where they are interested. So they can jump to, let's say, where she mentions this, I would type it down because there were interesting points that I want to highlight. I could then press that and then play from there. And it depends on how fast the video is shooting.
One of these days they might come up to you and come and look for your resources and all that, right? Okay. Okay, cool. So what we're gonna do today?
Okay, so and you notice that I can also add links. So finally it's starting to happen. Okay, so and if I were to expand this window, people can add a comment within that comment as well. So it's very rich and deep. Even more so, you have time code, you can see what user did that. And you can even rank it, whether it's a crappy comment, you can say boo, and then it disappears. Or if more people vote yes, then it's a good comment. So this site is really designed in such a way that it allows the video to behave very much like text. Because you can jump to parts that you want, just like flipping a page on a book. You can search for key phrases. It depends on, it's a lot of work of course, but if you can tag up the video enough, then you can almost more or less define what the video is about text as well. So very powerful in that sense. It also has a menu system here where you can get the link to the video, but this embed is really fascinating because when I hit that, it gives me options of embedding the video from the start, but it also lets me embed the video from the current frame. So if you're teaching a class and you just want to skip to a part where the guy mentions something, you can find that frame, just that part in the thing. This is immensely useful. I've never found any site that does something like that. And I'm only glad that the video quality is also high, So it literally, serves everything that I needed to do. You can also view all the comments in one shot, so you don't have to wonder, you don't have to go through everyone. It's all listed down here. Okay. And Vidler's in the chart as well. I put it in there, so you can see the specifications for it. Another cool thing, descriptions. You can see the tag. So if I click on a tag, it will pull up just those videos. People who like it, comments. You can see the comments, the time code. Also supports RSS feeds, so it doesn't really let you podcast the video, meaning if you want subscribers to subscribe to through iTunes, you can't really do it exactly from here, but there's a hack to do it so that people can also subscribe through iTunes. All this is mentioned on the Vidler blog, so if you do a search, you will find those how-tos as well. The statistics really useful. You can see how many views you've had, how many comments, how many plays, and so on and so forth. So, and embedded views, Vidler views means how many people saw it on the site. Embedded views, how many people saw it on the blogs. So, I put this on my blog, and I had about 5,000 views. So it's a very, very, very fantastic website. I love this site a lot, and I hope you like it too. Okay, just gonna run off the last few things here. So we've spotted this trend of how people are trying to work with video media and make it more flexible. But then there's this whole new movement that I tried to show you in the beginning on live casting. And I just want to show you a little bit because this is something that we've all kind of experienced in one way, some form or another. Where ever wonder how you can live your whole life and realize that your memory is very patchy. You can never remember everything exactly. Wouldn't it be neat if there was some automatic way to recall any moment instantaneously? So this is something that I've been trying to do with my backpack and a few other people as well. Including this guy from Microsoft, Gordon Bell. His intention is to record everything that he does in life, so that he can search any moment in time or search for any event and remember when it happened. So he uses things like a camera and all that. He has very customized applications. Whatever he reads goes through a scanner, and it becomes a searchable PDF and whatnot. So everything that he searches. So when he searched in his special program, which I believe we don't have, of course, but he's doing research on it, he will pull up anything from videos, photos, text, or anything that he's encountered. So this is my example of doing it. He has millions of dollars backing up. I only have whatever I've earned, and I built this on my own. But this is what I've managed to accomplish through a combination of Vidler and my gear. I do things like I time code the video, I put a date on it, and I also tag the video and people in the comment on it. So in this sense, I will be able to then search all my videos as well. Because I can search for the key moments and tags and so on. So this is me in Singapore taking a bus, and I'm about to head off from work. So this might be very difficult to watch, understand, shaking and all that, but what we are trying to do is that we're imagining a near future where we would be able to remember anything we want. And remember, once it's properly time coded, you can even search by time, by date, and so on. And because I'm GPS as well, and using the other geo technology, I could also figure out not just what I've been doing, but I can also figure out exactly by time what time I was doing, where was I at what time as well. So the idea is for you to have precision in memory that you've never had before. It's sort of like having auxiliary brain or memory prosthetic. The academic term here is memory prosthetic. Instead of you having a crutch when you're disabled, why not improve ourselves? Okay, what I'm trying to say is this. When people are disabled, they use prosthetics like crutches and all to become normal again. But why not use technology to improve our normal selves to beyond human by using technologies that we use to aid in memory, to aid in recalling and all that. So it's really interesting. Situations that I've encountered include things like how when a friend asks me how's my day, I can show. I don't have to say, I can show. It's amazing. when I showed this to there are two other commercial ventures. One person said, especially if I was doing this live, and part of it is the idea that I'm doing it live as well. People could watch what I'm doing on my blog as well. That people could send me messages and tell me what to do. So if I'm trying to pick between a cereal or make a life-altering decision, I can also ask for advice. It's kind of like being on the show where once is it where you can call for help. Yeah, the same idea, but it's in real life, in real time. So things like that happen when I'm shopping and I'm asking for advice. This is a good price, and then somebody can see my video and say, and call me and say, no, don't buy it, it's not good, or something like that. So suddenly your decisions are augmented. You are connected, and you have advice that you can grab. And I mean, this is already being done in the medical field where doctors, especially surgeons who are just starting out, while they're operating, a more senior surgeon could be somewhere else and could not have no time to attend that same room, but could watch what's going on and monitor and give advice as well. So there's this remote and sort of teleworking aspect to it as well. For marketers and all that, they're interested in the sense that if people had this and they volunteered to do so, then marketers could, for example, figure out if people were shopping, what were they looking at, why. Like in a grocery shopping aisle, what products would stand out more, right? The interactions more. So it's really, what we're trying to do here is to map out human behavior using techniques like this. Okay? There's also, of course, the aspect of voyeurism, which is something that this other site, Justin.tv, if you've heard of it, that's what his site is all about. And it's back to the old school idea where the internet is really about voyeurism, if you subscribe to the notion, because everybody that goes on starts out being anonymous, and so you can lurk and everything. And so all these people that you see here are people that have cameras on them almost 24 hours a day, and you can chat with them and talk to them. Okay, and of course teenagers would subscribe to this a lot easily because sometimes they just want to feel connected and so on. Some have more personality, some less. So some are more interesting to watch as well. But lots of interesting things have happened. So when one of the guys, Justin.tv, he started this whole thing in San Francisco. He started with it. As he walked around, he would sometimes ask, where should I eat? So because he's famous through this website that he started up, there are restaurants that say, oh, come to my restaurant, you're on us. And when he goes there to eat, it's kind of like a little commercial for them because the people are watching him at this place. So there's a lot of potential where, let's say in the future, any of you read science fiction like Snow Crash or Blade Runner and all that sort of thing? They have already thought of all this where we will all be carrying backpacks or some sort of thing where our experiences will all be sent to a server and we can choose what we're going to do with them. We can buy, sell experiences. There's this movie called Strange Days that mentioned it before. Oh, you guys know about it? Great. Strange Days, the idea that you could record your memory and sell it in the black market. So, of course, memories that would be worth a lot would be those that involve sex or porn or anything like that, where you're engaged in all sorts of vices and people could live out those experiences where their normal lives would not afford them to. Let's say if I'm working office 24 hours, boring life, I could lead an exciting life by using other people's memory. So we're all trying to attempt that. And if I could add, and people are asking, we could add things like the ability to add smell, sense of smell, touch, and all that to our system, that'd be great, but we can't. So the furthest we can go right now is through video. And so we augmented with GPS and everything like this. Not too long ago, there was a cycling competition in Barcelona or something, and some of the riders that were sponsored were outfitted with GPS gear as well as heart rate monitors and altitude sensors. So you can literally see how they're performing, whether they're tired, what their speed is, and if you're a professional, you can sort of learn from it, like how to pace yourself. So it's really fascinating technology, the idea of presence technology, that you can feel that you're part of the picture and you can almost experience a person's experience. You can see the elevation that the cyclist is going on and say, wow, how's he doing it? You can see the heart rate. So all these things, are interesting in that regard, that we can live the experiences of others and likewise this. So in the near future, these sort of technologies won't be so cumbersome. It could be built into our cell phone or something, built into our glasses. So it's not very far off. It's already starting to miniaturize and reach that stage. So I can't really show you this right now because too many things are going on. But
Do you have the application?
oh, you don't have to. Most of these sites let you view without having to sign up for an account. But if you do have an account, then you'll be able to upload material as well. Okay. Now, of course, there are very dangerous things that have to do with this as well. There are very dangerous things that happen as well. I mean, this is, if any of you are familiar with pornography online, I mean, one thing about pornography that helps mankind is actually how it uses state-of-the-art technology. They were the first to do video on demand online, pay for videos and buy them online and stuff like that. But then what's happening is that we see this blurring already, because when I watch some of the people on these sites, sometimes we're really young, and it's pretty scary because there's actually a feature where you can have a donation box. And it's scary because some of these kids, I don't know if they're aware, but when the guys actually tell them to do something and pay them to do it, they're really kind of getting into that space without realizing it. They get excited, whoa, I got $5, okay, what can we do? It's like, whoa, they don't know what they're getting themselves into. So there are dangerous aspects to it as well. Okay, but with every new technology, there are new affordances, and there's always pros and cons, just like how when the nuclear bomb was made and all that stuff. But yeah, so hopefully we will have positive uses of such technology in the near future.
So some of these videos, I just tried loading it online, a couple of them just have cameras sitting and nothing happening, or this guy's just sitting at his computer typing.
I guess
All he's doing.
I guess midday there's not much happening, but at night that's where things go wild, and I really mean they go wild. Obviously the girl videos are more trafficked, and you can actually see the number of viewers and all that stuff. Some of them are more exciting because most of these people who do this have a webcam at home, so they can't really go around. So it's really you having a dialogue with them, you can talk to them. I played this idea that, perhaps for most of these sites, they're sort of like acting like a virtual girlfriend for guys, virtual boyfriend for, because you kind of like almost have something for real. But there are some who are more mobile, like having a setup at home, where they actually go out, and iJustin.tv is one of them. She actually goes out to conferences, and you can then see the conference without being there, and you can talk to them, you can tell her what questions you want her to ask, and she can ask on your behalf. And this is something that I did when I was back in Singapore as well. So I could give people the opportunity to see things that they normally cannot see. If I get exclusives to whatever. And this is what, it's kind of like self-propelling, because when you do something like that, then it makes you into a celebrity as well, because you get invited to certain events and you become the exclusive. So yeah, there are lots of very interesting things that are happening in this space as well. And I don't know exactly how we use this in the educational aspect, but for me, when I'm studying how people are using this, I'm looking at it more for trying to see to what extent we are able to push the idea of presence. That is, right now, when we are at home, some of us, they turn on the television even though we're not watching it, right? We leave it running. And the idea is, part of the idea is this thing called ambient presence. That is, you don't want to feel alone, basically. And so even though, the TV and you have nothing in common, but it's a reflection of what's happening in the public space. And so things like this sort of let you become more engaged into the bigger mainstream. It's as if, it's sort of like us being near the river, where the river is really happening. And if we're not near there, how do we sort of bridge that vibe? So people have things like instant messages on all the time, even though they're not talking to anybody. Just seeing people coming online already makes you feel as if you're not disconnected. And so things like these make us even more connected. So when I put this thing on, a newspaper reporter once asked me a very, very interesting question. So when you put it on, does it feel like putting on armor? I said, yeah, it's kind of like putting on a form of armor, because it's an armor that sort of like connects to you with the rest, and you don't feel alone anymore. You're suddenly dawning on. One person also said that when I have my camera on, it's kind of like not just me looking at you, but 1,000 other eyes online as well. And I mean, this whole notion of presence starts to change a lot, and it's very powerful in that sense. Yeah, that's why I'm very excited to do stuff like that. But yeah, so lots of interesting possible uses, and that's where I see so far as what's happening right now in the near future. From hyperlinking video, searching video, to video that is persistently there, that you don't turn off. In this sense, yeah. So we're trying to keep the connections going. That's what these require. Okay. Any questions? I mean, this kind of sums it up. This chart that I gave you should be pretty useful because, like I said, I haven't seen a chart that does this. So I hope this will be really useful. I'll be building upon it. I'll be blogging about it, and hopefully you will use it straight away. Any questions? I hope it's been interesting. As you can see, I approach it from a very cultural standpoint because lots of development here that isn't in the realm of text or imagery, but more that's very special to video, that you can only see it in the video format.
Just a quick question. If you're going with entertainment video camera, I was going to purchase one, which would be looking for.
Okay. Traditional video cameras like those, they use a TV tape, and what I realized is that the more steps you have to go through to use something, the less likely you are to follow through. Like I could shoot a ton of footage, but at the end of the day, I'm too lazy to take it off. So I find that if you're going to buy a camera and you want to do it consistently, as you use a lot of videos, you want to get yourself a flash-based media camera. So something like this is a Sony M2. It's a hybrid cam. A lot of normal video digital cameras can take video, but the difference about the problem with those digital video cameras is that they have shortcomings like you guys. I just to show you. As people try to force it open. So a lot of the videos that I found when I shot with those digital cameras is that they don't autofocus when you shoot. Most of these cameras, when you press the shutter, it then focuses and stays that way. So when you press record on the video, if you move, it's not going to change focus. Now the newer digital cameras do that. Okay? Some video cameras also let you do program settings, things like exposure, ISO, and all that. And when you switch to the video mode, sometimes it just doesn't work. So hybrid cams like these, this is one of them. They're not immensely popular because people, it's kind of a trade-off. It's a situation where, okay, if you buy anything that's 2-in-1, you're never going to get the better off feature of either one. But I found that this is